Most Nintendo consoles have a lifespan of 5 years and then we get the next one. Well, guess what? This is part 6 of my Nintendo Switch retrospective, meaning the thing is now 6 years old. A couple more years and it's gonna be old enough to drink. March 22 had one big release I was really looking forward to, and it's the brand new 3D Kirby game, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. And wow, what a great game this is! I think I would compare this game to Super Mario 3D World in a way, meaning that the game is divided into levels and all of them feature a certain theme: grass, water, ice, etc. During those levels, you'll be eating some enemies and grabbing their abilities like Kirby usually does, but this time around you can also perform this ability on much bigger things. Have you wondered what Kirby looks like as a car? Well, wonder no more! These new abilities are actually pretty solid and change the way you play the game, making them very interesting. Each world features a bunch of levels, and each of these levels feature different objectives that you have to accomplish if you want to fully beat the game. You'll definitely have to play each levels multiple times if you want to clear all of the objectives, but the thing is, the levels are so well made that beating them multiple times is actually quite fun. The game also features upgrades that you can obtain by visiting some shops in town. It also has an arena where you can fight all of the game's bosses, and also has some special levels that are meant to teach you how to use each copy abilities effectively. Seriously, Kirby and the Forgotten Land is really polished and it's a blast to play through. I actually fully beat that one and I would do it again anytime. If you're a fan of RPG games, well, Triangle Strategy also came out during March, and it's another one of these HD 2D games, and I never really was a fan of these ones. The game looks good and seems polished enough, but yeah, I don't have much to say as this is definitely not my cup of tea. What is my cup of tea is the Mario Kart franchise, and if you remember, the Booster Course Pass DLC was revealed during last month's Nintendo Direct. Well, guess what? Wave 1 is here, and the tracks it features are actually decent. A bunch of tracks included in this first wave come directly from the mobile game Mario Kart Tour, and it kinda shows a little. The realistic art style from the classic Mario Kart 8 tracks is nowhere to be found in these ones. They really look more like classic Mario Kart tracks from previous games, and I know it bothered some people at first, especially with the case of Toad's Circuit, cause the sand is just a basic beige brown color, and yeah, it doesn't look that good. But personally, I don't really play Mario Kart games for the graphics. I mostly enjoy the chaotic action, the items, and everything that makes Mario Kart, well, Mario Kart. And those new tracks definitely feature that. This first wave is actually quite solid and has some bangers such as Whi's Coconut Mall and Paris Promenade, and yeah, all in all, I'm very satisfied by it and I can't wait for the upcoming waves as well. There's just one thing that truly annoys me from the wave. The cars in the parking lot in Coconut Mall no longer move left and right to try to hit you. Why? Why would you ruin that for me? March was also the month where the upcoming Advance Wars 1+2 reboot game was pushed back to an undisclosed date. You see, the game's plot is about a country that invades another one, causing a war, and well, this is pretty much what was happening between Russia and Ukraine at the time. So yeah, the game was just shelved for the time being. Hopefully, nothing else gets pushed back. Oh hey, it's Eiji Aonuma, producer of the Legend of Zelda series, and he has an update on the sequel to Breath of the Wild. And this update pushes back the release date from 2022 to spring of 2023. Oh my gosh, this is so sad. As Breath of the Wild is one of my favorite games of all time, this was a big bummer. But hey, I'll be waiting. Just before we move on to April, Nintendo also released a Switch update in March, and this one allows users to create folders. This was a feature that was already available on 3DS and Wii U, and it was a bit weird that this wasn't the case on Switch, but now it is. Kinda. It works a bit differently compared to Wii U, as you cannot access your folders from the main screen, and you have to go to this Show All Software screen first, and then you can access the folders. It's a bit weird and, well, not very practical, but hey, it's a bit better than nothing, I suppose? April is here, and the brand new entry in the Wii Sports series is finally here. Nintendo Switch Sports. Where to begin? It's a good game, yes, but it's a sports game. Like, don't get me wrong, I too was completely in awe when Wii Sports came out back in 2006, and I played the heck out of tennis and bowling at the time. But now, the year is 2022, and times have changed. Swinging a remote around is no longer the coolest, baddest thing ever. Obviously, this new game features better graphics and better controls and better everything, but in the end, it's a basic motion-controlled sports game. Like this and this, they're the same game. The selection does feature a few new sports like volleyball, badminton, and soccer, and they're all pretty well done, but the game also keeps some classics like tennis, bowling, and chambara that was also in Wii Sports Resort. Golf and boxing are sadly missing from this version of the game, but apparently golf will be added a bit later during the year, so I guess I'll be on the lookout for that. All in all, this isn't a bad game, but this is also not going to win any Game of the Year awards. Oh, wait a minute, have you noticed how fat the game box is? That's because the physical edition of the game comes with a leg strap. Yep, the same one from Ring Fit Adventure, and with it, you can now kick the ball in soccer. Wow, that was nothing. Oh, and by the way, do you remember last year's Metroid Dread? Yep, well, here's a free update for you featuring a boss rush mode. Yay, I always wanted to experience the worst parts of Metroid Dread all lined up one after another. Jokes aside, this is a free update, so I can't complain, but at this point I had already beaten the game, so I really didn't go for another serving. Remember the Octo expansion DLC from Splatoon 2 that was released back in 2018? Well, if you've never bought it, but you are a Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack member, well now it is included with the membership. This really came out of nowhere, but I'm not gonna lie, this DLC is so good and I'm glad Nintendo is actually including it now. This will hopefully mean more people will play and enjoy it. And while we're on the topic of the Nintendo Switch Online membership, well, apparently some data was mined and leaked, and basically Game Boy games are supposedly being currently tested, meaning that we might get these soon. Hopefully the leak is real, because the Game Boy library is actually full of amazing games. Welcome to May, and we may not spend too long here, because there weren't any epic Switch releases that I played during the month. In fact, I don't think I bought a single game in May. There wasn't a proper Nintendo Direct either, but we did get an Indie World showcase featuring a couple cool games. So yeah, there's that, but yep, that's gonna be it. It's time for June, the month where a brand new Mario sports game was finally released. Mario Strikers Battle League is now officially out, and I'm not gonna lie, it's not really good. I've always enjoyed the Mario Strikers franchise, especially the Wii version that I played to death, so obviously I was excited by this one, but man, there's nothing here! It's Mario Strikers, meaning it's a soccer game where you attack your opponents with different weapons, and then you shoot the ball into the goal and you hope for the best. The classic gameplay you love is all there, and that's it. There's nothing new here that kept me interested in the game. As opposed to the other Switch Mario sports games like tennis and golf, this one doesn't have an adventure mode. Basically, the single player experience is just a tournament mode where you play against your opponents until you win a trophy. Yay, that's way too basic. Oh well, I guess you can now combine two stadiums together, which seems to be the main new gimmick the game wants to push, but I still don't see the point to this. It really doesn't affect gameplay whatsoever. And well, a soccer field is a soccer field. It really doesn't matter what you put around it. This game was seriously one of my biggest disappointment of the year. And well, I just never got into it. A brand new Fire Emblem Warriors also came out during that month. Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes. And well, this one is actually pretty cool. It's based around the world of Fire Emblem 3 Houses, but in a different timeline, so you don't really have to play 3 houses if you want to get 3 hopes. And well, let's be real, it's a Warriors game. It's a mindless hack and slash game where you fight thousands of enemies and feel very powerful. These games end up being all really similar to one another, and well, if you enjoy one, you enjoy them all. luckily for me, I do enjoy these games. So this one was pretty good. I do have to admit there's too many story elements and cutscenes for my liking, but all in all, this is a good game. It doesn't beat my boy Hyrule Warriors though. It will always be number one in my heart. Sonic Origins is another game I played during June, and well, this one is a compilation including Sonic 1, 2, 3, and Knuckles, and also Sonic City. And well, you've probably played these games already before, so yeah, they're fun. All of the games can be played in widescreen now, making them the best way to experience classic Sonic in my opinion. And well, each game features different challenges for you to play, each of those bringing you back to the classic levels, but under new circumstances and featuring new objectives in order to clear them. These challenges are actually really fun and kept me busy for a while. Alright, now it's time to see what Nintendo announced during the big E3 presentation. What? E3 is still cancelled this year? Bummer. Thankfully, Nintendo did release a Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Direct. And well, considering I have yet to play the series, I didn't really watch it. We also got a Nintendo Direct mini partner showcase that told us more about upcoming Nintendo Switch games. This one was a banger, revealing a Switch port of the critically acclaimed Nier Automata, a game that I always wanted to try. Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection was also shown, which contains some of the best GBA games ever made, and we also got a remake of Pac-Man World, which I have yet to play. I was really excited about the sequel to Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, which seems to have improved a lot over the first game, especially in terms of gameplay, as you can now freely move around the world instead of being stuck on a grid-based layout. The new abilities seem to be pretty interesting, and those new spark moves are actually pretty cool looking. Considering all the time I spent playing the first game, I was definitely looking forward to this next one. Some Sonic Frontiers gameplay was also shown during that direct, and wow, a true open world Sonic game! It looks phenomenal! This direct ended with a reveal that Persona was coming out for the Switch. So yeah, I suppose that's cool. I've never played a Persona game before, so I don't know much about it. Remember that Pokemon Scarlet and Violet teaser we got in February? Well, here's more gameplay footage of it. Oh, and it's coming out this year in November. Okay, the game looks really rough. Can they really polish it that much before it releases? Only time will tell, I suppose. Apparently, a sequel to One to Switch is in the works, and well, internally it is being described as boring, which, let's be real, isn't anything surprising, considering the first game in the series was total garbage. This boring sequel is supposed to be called Everybody's One to Switch, and it would allow you to use your phone to play it, kinda like what the Jackbox games do. And while we're on the topic of rumors, a Metroid Prime re-release is supposedly also in the works, bringing back the world of GameCube's Metroid Prime, but in glorious HD. Does that mean Prime 4 is almost ready? Maybe, maybe not. GoldenEye 007 is also rumored to come out for the Nintendo Switch Online N64 app, and well, that'd be very cool. This game is part of my childhood. It was so good back then. But since the rights to the game are being shared between Nintendo, Rare, and Microsoft, the game never got a re-release before. Is everything going to work out this time around? I don't know. Welcome to July, and well, it's finally time to play the third game in the Xenoblade Chronicles franchise. And once again, I know it's getting old, but I have yet to play the series. Apparently, this third game is also pretty good, and well, I own it and will eventually get to it. The second game that Nintendo released this month is also another one I haven't played. It's called Live a Life, and from what I gathered, it is a remake of a SNES game that never got out of Japan. Just like Triangle Strategy, this game features the HD 2D graphical style that Square Enix seems to love to use everywhere. And well, I guess it might be good or something. I haven't played it, so I can't say much about it sadly. The third game in the Bayonetta franchise also got a new trailer that revealed its release date of October 28th. And yes, I'm really looking forward to this one. Well, look at the time! It is time for yet another random Kirby game announcement! I mean, we got a Smash clone and a boss fight game before, so now it is time for a racing game! Kirby's Dream Buffet is the name of the game, and it looks okay, I suppose. The game will be out next month, so I'll tell you all about it once we get to August. Hey! It's August! The game's out now! And this month was yet another slow month for Nintendo games. But I did buy and play Kirby's Dream Buffet, and well, it's a really basic racing game involving cute rolling Kirby characters that eat cake and get fat. Yep, that's the premise. The winner is the one with the chubbiest Kirby of them all, and in order to get chubby, you gotta eat food. There's a few gimmicks here and there, including some power-ups that make you faster or bigger. Eventually, there's even some sort of big fighting minigame where you try to attack the other Kirbys to get them to lose their food. Yeah, there's not much to say about the game. It's fun, but it's very generic. It's not gonna keep you busy for very long. I did play it for a couple hours here and there, but the game's pretty much dead nowadays, which is kind of a bummer. Maybe if the game was free to play, it would still attract new players, but right now, it just doesn't. Nintendo just left the game there to rot. Thankfully, they're never going to let Mario Kart 8 Deluxe rot, and that's a great thing! Introducing the second wave of the Booster Pass Course DLC, and yet again, 8 more tracks were added to the already pretty huge selection. There are some really solid bangers this time around, like Calamari Desert from Mario Kart 64 that now features a whole section where you actually race inside the train tunnel. Yo, that's neat! We got Waluigi Pinball from DS, Mushroom Gorge from Wii, and even New York Minute from Tour. Those are all solid picks, but my favorite has to be the brand new course, Sky High Sundae. I mean, look at this one! You're racing on ice creams, sundaes, popsicles, and you even race through a giant freezer! Now this is what I'm talking about. Obviously, this second wave suffers from the same problems as the first one, being that most of the tracks don't look nearly as good as the base game tracks. But at this point, I think we've come to accept the fact that these 48 new tracks are going to look a bit more basic because they were made with Mario Kart Tour in mind. And you know what? For the price I paid, I'm still very satisfied. Oh, and guess what? Remember when I complained about the cars not moving in the remake of Wii's Coconut Mall? Well, apparently complaining sometimes leads to something, because this wave also changed this track. Now the cars spin around and they try to hit you! Heck yeah! This is pretty cool! But yeah, that's pretty much all I played during the month, meaning it was yet another slow one. But that's okay, because a Nintendo Direct is probably right around the corner, isn't it? Oh, it's actually a Pokemon Direct. I mean, a Pokemon Presents, my bad. This one announced new costumes for Pokemon Unite and a new update for Pokemon Cafe Remix, which I really didn't care much about. Thankfully, it did spend a lot of time giving us more infos about Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet. And well, looks like these games are going to be quite big. I'm not gonna lie though, I'm getting a bit scared about the looks of this game. All of the footage that is shown is very rough, and the frame rate seems to be all over the place. This wouldn't bother me as much if the games were not coming out in 3 months, but at this point, it's safe to say that this will be the final look. And well, I'm not so sure I want to buy it anymore. Oh, wait, the game will feature co-op play online? Well, never mind, I don't care if it looks like shit, I just want to play online with my buddies. It's gonna be amazing! Alright, it's time for a Nintendo Direct now. Oh, it's actually a Splatoon 3 Direct. Yeah, this will do. This Direct was 31 minutes of Splatoon goodness, showcasing the new weapons, the new specials, it showed all of the shops, and also the new Splatsville World Hub, and introduced a few new features, including this one that allows you to customize your locker. But by far, the weirdest new addition is this card game called Table Turf. Basically, you'll get random cards featuring square patterns, and you gotta try to put those in the battle arena, and the player that has the most colored squares at the end of the round wins. I mean, sure, why not? This didn't get me excited at all, but at least it is something totally brand new. We also got more details on the new stuff coming to Salmon Run, and we got a sneak peek at the single player campaign. Last but not least, the Direct announced the Splatfest world premiere on Saturday the 27th, which is basically a free Splatoon 3 demo, so yeah, that was pretty neat. September is here, and if you enjoyed the Splatoon 3 demo, well guess what? The game is now officially out! But before we get to this, there was a Nintendo Direct that happened and we need to discuss it. For those that remember, this is the farming Nintendo Direct, which became infamous as it features like 4 different farming simulators. But don't get fooled by the looks, this Direct was packed with cool stuff. A brand new Fire Emblem game was revealed right from the start, and this one looks a little more simplistic compared to Three Houses. And well, if it's more about fighting than it is talking with your classmates, I might give it a try. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 released more DLC, and Octopath Travelers 2 was revealed. So yeah, here's 2 more RPGs I'll never play. Mario & Rabbids Sparks of Hope did receive another trailer explaining the mechanics in greater details, and well, yes, I'm really looking forward to this one. Another thing I'm looking forward to is the upcoming Nintendo 64 games that are being added to the Switch Online expansion pack. 1080 Snowboarding, the Mario Party series, the Pokemon Stadium games, and last but not least... Holy crap, it's happening! GoldenEye 007 is coming out to Nintendo Switch! The rumors were true all along, and it's gonna feature online play. This is gonna be a banger! Mario Strikers Battle League is getting a second free update. Woo! Who cares? Mario Kart's Wave 3 DLC got teased, showing Merry Mountain from Mario Kart Tour and Peach Gardens from DS, which are both solid picks. I'm really looking forward to this. Golf was also being added to Nintendo Switch Sports, so there's that too. I'm sure the 5 people that still play the game are super hyped about it. Next up, well, Pikmin 4 was revealed, and wow, it looks like it's going to take place in a very big world. This is really exciting. Bayonetta 3 received yet another trailer, and well, it looks good. A remaster for one of my favorite games of all time, Tales of Symphonia, has been announced, and well, I was beyond thrilled when this was shown. I wasn't expecting it. I cannot wait to get back into one of my best childhood games ever. Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe got a trailer, and well, it is a very good looking remake of a Wii game, but after playing Kirby and the Forgotten Land, I feel like getting back to a more classic 2D Kirby game might be challenging for me. We'll see. Last but far from least, we got a huge trailer telling us more about the sequel to Breath of the Wild, and the game finally has a name, Tears of the Kingdom! Wow, and it now has an official release date of May 12th, 2023. This Nintendo Direct was insanely good. I loved it. But now let's talk about the games that came out this month. Splatoon 3. What is there to say? If you enjoyed Splatoon 1 and 2, well, you'll feel right at home with this one. It's pretty much the same game yet again. Don't get me wrong, okay? There is nothing wrong with the Splatoon series per se, but was the third game really needed? There's new maps, new weapons, and new specials, as well as some quality of life improvements, including the fact that you can now test your weapons in the lobby while you wait for matchmaking. But all in all, it's just more Splatoon. I feel like they could have included those new maps and weapons in Splatoon 2 instead of releasing a third game. Like, do we really need 2 Splatoon games on a single console? I guess the single player campaign is pretty good, and it's way more fleshed out and features different objectives and upgrades to collect, which is pretty cool, but it's just more of the same yet again. This is the Splatoon game I played the least, sadly. And well, I bet they're gonna release a 4th one on Switch too, and well, they're gonna have to change the formula quite a bit if they want to lure me back in. A good friend of mine, Nintendo, did release his own game this month. It's called Carl, and I played the crap out of this one. Basically, it's a side-scroller where you control this cute little robot and you gotta jump and shoot your way to victory. The game is really retro and reminds me of classic Mega Man games, but each level features a different twist and a gimmick that makes it stand out from the previous one. It was very fun. But yeah, that's pretty much all that I played during that month, meaning it's time to get to October, a month featuring a few games that I bought and played. Let's start with Nier Automata, a game that actually completely broke me. To this day, I still don't know why, but I actually loved everything about this game. The characters, the music, the atmosphere, the story, the endings, because yes, there is more than one. This game is truly something special. I don't know why though, like the combat is not revolutionary and the big open areas are mostly empty, but I have a feeling that it might be the reason why the game is so special. You really do feel like you're on a destroyed planet and the feeling of sadness actually never leaves you. This game plays a bunch of tricks on you, even changing the gameplay mid-story, and it contains plot twists all over the place. And well, yeah, it's a masterpiece. I can say the same about Bayonetta 3, which to me is the worst one. It's a damn shame because I was looking forward to it so badly, but it just didn't do it for me. The new gimmick of controlling the big demons is actually interesting, but it gets old really quick. But my biggest gripe with this game is that you spend half of it not actually playing as Bayonetta. There are some 2D side-scroller sections involving Jeanne, and they're not particularly fun, and then there's Violet, the new character. Basically, she's an edgy rockstar kick-ass girl with a big sword, and she's kinda fun to play as, but that's not what I was expecting from the game. Speaking of, this game's story is all over the place, featuring multiverses, making you meet different versions of Bayonetta, and man, this was just garbage. Everything about this game pretty much disappointed me, and to be honest, I haven't finished it. That's the first time a Bayonetta game did that to me. Mario & Rabbids Sparks of Hope also came out during that month, and well, it's a bigger and better version of the first game. The new open areas are pretty cool, the new guns and mechanics feel fresh, and yeah, it's really fun. No longer are you stuck moving on a grid. No, you can now freely move around an area and attack enemies from there. And this actually changes the way you play the game quite a bit. I really enjoyed this new way to play, and yes, it was a pretty fun game. It's now time for November, and this month started off with the release of Sonic Frontiers, a brand new open world game featuring my boy Sonic. And well, it was amazing! I didn't play it at launch originally, but when I finally took the time to experience this game, I just couldn't put it down. It is Sonic's first time exploring giant open world areas, and well, the gimmick works like a charm. Basically, there are things to collect all over the place. There are platforms and ramps and puzzles to solve left and right, and you can technically just run around the big map for hours upon hours, and you'll always stumble on new stuff to discover. The game also features some more classic Sonic levels and contain the classic stuff you're used to. And well, they are pretty fun too, with the exception of a few ones that are just painful. The different zones you'll visit all feature different gimmicks and environments, and well, the game remained fresh for the entire time I spent playing it. I was genuinely excited to play it every single time. If you haven't tried it yet, well, trust me, you should. November was also the month where the next generation of Pokemon games came out. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And where to begin? This game is ugly as heck. It runs like complete garbage, it's full of glitches and bugs, whole buildings pop out of nowhere, the game crashes all the time, the camera can barely focus on the action, and yet, it's a fun game! Yup, that's the worst part. I could spend 15 minutes focusing on everything that this game does wrong, and yet I played it and had fun with it. It is a classic Pokemon game, meaning you'll have to collect 8 badges by defeating 8 gym leaders, but the game also has 2 other parts you get to experience. One where you fight giant Titan Pokemons, and one where you fight Team Star, who are basically the evil guys of this generation. The thing is, you can experience all of this in pretty much any order you want. There is obviously a more defined path that will fit with your Pokemon levels, but you can just say screw it and do things in the order you want. It truly feels refreshing and makes the game better. But yeah, I do feel like the Nintendo Switch might not have been the best console for this game. It is just not powerful enough, and well, Game Freak isn't known for being able to optimize their games that well, leading to the result we got. The scope for this game was too large, and it definitely needed at least one more year in the oven before it was ready. Sadly, it never got it, and it never will. But one can hope that the next Pokemon game will build on the foundations of this one and actually make it work better this time. December is here, and well, I'm looking at all of the games that were released this month, and I think I bought and played a grand total of 0. Well, at least Wave 3 of the Booster Pass Course DLC came out to try and save the day, and well, it's good. The track selection is pretty solid once again and features fan favorites like Maple Treeway and Peach Gardens, but the rest of the tracks are actually pretty cool. Another Rainbow Road has been added, this time the 3DS one, meaning that there's now 4 different Rainbow Roads that are available in a single Mario Kart game. That's a new record for sure. But yeah, new Mario Kart tracks aside, December was a very slow month in terms of releases, and well, we didn't get a Nintendo Direct either. So yep, let's watch Jeff Keighley and his Game Awards. Oh, look, it's a brand new Bayonetta game. Well, it's not a new Bayonetta game per se, but it is a spin-off called Syriza and the Lost Demons. This looks kind of interesting, but after the disappointment that was Bayonetta 3, I'll just keep my expectations low. January 2023 is right here, and well, it's time to play Fire Emblem Engage. And well, I'm glad to report that I actually played and really enjoyed this one. No longer do I have to teach students, meet them in the cafeteria, and talk for hours upon hours. No, I can just go to war and kick some asses. This game was actually very interesting, and yes, it does feature some useless minigames meant to improve your morale and bonds, and this is pretty much the only part that I disliked. But since this is no longer the main focus of the game, I actually completed Fire Emblem Engage and had fun from beginning to end. Heck, I kinda wanted more by the time I was done, so I guess I should maybe give Three Houses another chance? Nah. I can't play another Fire Emblem game because I now have to play a classic GoldenEye 007. And wow, it aged so poorly. The controls are so bad. You really do have to own the freaking N64 controller if you want to stand a chance. I remember playing it with my friends online, and we were supposed to have a whole gaming night of playing it, and well, I think we stopped after about 30 minutes, yeah. It's not that it's a bad game, it's just one that hasn't stood the test of time. It aged like fine milk, if you're catching my drift. The single player campaign is still pretty cool, but yeah, it is an old game and there are way better newer games that came out. So yeah, let's move on. It's February, meaning that it's time for us to watch the usual February Nintendo Direct. It started off strong with a better look at Pikmin 4, and man does it look gorgeous! We finally got some gameplay, and well, the camera is now following behind you instead of being above you, completely switching the perspective, and well, it looks good! A new breed of Pikmin was introduced, the Ice Pikmin, who can freeze little water ponds and enemies, and we also got a look at this weird dog-like creature that seems to be able to help you out by breaking walls and allowing you to float on water. My biggest hype moment was when they showed that the caves from Pikmin 2 were back. As these were some of the scariest and most difficult parts of that game, seeing them back in Pikmin 4 made me quite happy. The game is coming out in July and I can't wait for it. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 got yet again more DLC, yay! We also got a better look at Syriza and the Lost Demon, and well, the game is actually looking pretty fun. Splatoon 3 also got an expansion pass DLC announced, and it will allow you to visit the old city of Nicobbq from the first game. So yeah, I guess that's cool, maybe? I don't really care. It also revealed the Side Order story DLC, which looks really weird and actually mysterious. This one looks interesting, not gonna lie. I'll pick it up for sure. A bunch of cool games were also revealed, such as Disney's Illusion Island and Sea of Stars. And well, Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot is finally back. It took over a year of delay, but the game was brought back from the dead and will come out in April. The Nintendo Switch Online was about to get even better by adding classic Game Boy games for the basic tier and Game Boy Advance games for the expansion pack tier. Well, this is actually exciting. The catalog of games is getting better and better, and well, you're getting more bang for your buck, so that's a W. Metroid Prime Remastered was finally revealed during the Direct, and after months of rumors about its existence, it's amazing to see it's finally coming out. The game looks gorgeous, and since it's a classic, I was really looking forward to it. What? It launches today? Okay, that's big! Wave 4 of the Mario Kart DLC was shown, and the Yoshi's Island track looks so gorgeous. It is a brand new track, and I feel like it's the one that looks the best so far. Birdo was also revealed to be added in this wave, and that was unexpected. New characters were actually never discussed before, but now that Birdo is being added, well, who else can they add? Only time will tell. The Direct ended with yet another look at Tears of the Kingdom, this time revealing a bit more story-wise. And well, it looks fantastic. Alright, now for the games that I played during the month. Well, I played the brand new Kirby game. Well, it's not really new as it's a remaster of Kirby's Return to Dreamland for the Wii, but to be honest, I didn't remember much about the game, so it felt new to me. I'm happy to report that the game is actually really fun. As you probably remember, I didn't find Kirby Star Allies to be that interesting, so having another 2D Kirby game kinda scared me. But no, this one is actually solid. This deluxe port is very well made, and the graphics were not only improved, but they now feature a distinctive new art style with every character now having a big bold outline around them. For some reason, it really makes the game looks better and makes everything pop up more, allowing you to see the game better, especially if you're playing in handheld mode. The game also features an extra adventure mode called Magolor Epilogue, where you control Magolor following the events of Return to Dreamland. Magolor has different abilities, and you can improve him by collecting magic points that you can then use to upgrade his abilities. Really cool game mode and very worth the play. Tales of Symphonia Remastered finally arrived during that month, and I was really excited to dive back into this cult classic. That is, until I played it. Oh my gosh, they did my boy dirty! This game was completely busted at launch, with weird visual glitches, frame rate drops at the worst moment, incredibly long loading times, and well, this was truly the worst way to play this game. This is such a disappointment. And well, I just couldn't bear to play it in these conditions. I guess I'll just stick to the GameCube version for now. As mentioned during the Nintendo Direct, Metroid Prime Remastered was also launched during the month, and wow, what a great game it is! I love everything about this one. It looks amazing, like I even wondered if I was playing a Switch game or a PlayStation 4 game at some points because of how polished it is. They truly gave this remaster some love, and it shows. All in all, it's the same game you've played on the GameCube, but now looking way better and also available to play on the go. So yeah, this was a big win. The Nintendo Switch's 6th year was a bit unequal. Like you could have 2 to 3 games released during the same month, followed by 2 months of nothingness. And most of these months were padded with extra DLC from Mario Kart or a random remaster of an old game. It wasn't a bad year per se, but it certainly wasn't the Nintendo Switch's prime time. Will next year be better? Well, join me next time as we'll enter the Switch's 7th year. Wow, now this console is starting to get old. Thanks for watching.